Hello, drumstickers from planet Earth. Welcome again, Alberto Iglesias, Drumsticks Sunday channel. A different pair of drumsticks every week. And so winter is already here. It's super cold now, but anyway, it's time to talk about drumsticks, you know. So this week, okay, after your past week, I saw you all the new stuff I have here for the next weeks. But I finally decided to give a try to the Promark 5A Rebound model, mainly for two reasons. The first one is because it's kind of the new thing for Promark for this year. At the Tantrum Fest, they have they were doing some kind of a lot of promotion of that, and it's the new thing for them. And at the same time, I have a request from Edoardo LaSpada. That he was asking me to try the 5B Rebound from Promark. Okay, I was capable, they didn't have in stock that model, the 5B Rebound exactly, but my buddies from Percussion, well, my buddy Victor gave me this pair of Promark FireGrain, which is in fact this pair has the Tam logo, as you can see. Okay, so this pair is a 5A Rebound. Okay, honestly, I think that the fact that it's a 5A or 5B is not gonna change for me anything about the Rebound model, because it's the same idea, but just with 5A or 5B. So I hope it works for you. It's what I'm gonna do. Instead of the 5B Rebound, I'm gonna try this 5A Rebound, and at the same time we have a chance to have a look at the FireGrain thing, so we can mix everything together. Okay. Okay, I suppose your idea or your request is to compare the standard, the classic 5A from Promark to the 5A Rebound. Okay. Well, I have this 5B, which is classic. It's not the Rebound model, it's a classic, but it's good because I can compare two. So I'm gonna try to mix everything and give you my impression if it works for you. If it's not enough, if for some reason you need the 5B for something very specific, I get it in the future and I'll try it. But I think I'm gonna give you more or less the same thing that I'm gonna say today. Just check it out and let me know if it works for you. So let's start with the FireGrain thing, okay? In general, okay, what's the FireGrain? The FireGrain, it's a flame tempering process that Promark applies to the drumsticks. So it's literally a small tunnel with flames, okay, with fire, and so the drumstick goes through that tunnel, and because of that, the drumstick has this kind of cool look, okay, as you can see. I don't know if you know or if you knew this variation, this FireGrain, but it's kind of cool, the look. I really like it. Okay, so it's like a burn, and it's cool. So this is through this process, what they are trying to get, or what they are getting, it's a hardening process. Okay, the result they get is that the drumstick it's harder, so it has more durability. It delays the chipping and the denting process. The denting and the chipping of the drumstick. So, but at the same time, they keep the feeling of the hickory, of a standard hickory drumstick. Because as you know, when you need a harder drumstick, you have to go to oak or other kind of strange materials. But if you want wood, you have to go to oak. But at the same time, oak it's kind of heavier, pretty heavier. So sometimes it's not good for you, because okay, I need more durability because I really play hard, but I don't like the weight of the oak and all that stuff, or maybe the grip or something like that. So with this, they are trying to get that. They're trying to, okay, I'm gonna give you a pair of hickory drumsticks, but that lasts longer. Okay, that's the main thing of the FireGrain series. Okay. Well, apart from, so I have a problem with that because, as you know, I only test the drumstick for 1 week. So for me, because of the way I play, as you know, I don't play hard. It's kind of difficult for me to compare the durability. As you know, for me, 1 week, it's a lot. You can barely see any damage in the drumstick in 1 week. In my case, even if playing it every single day, but. So I can test that. What I've been trying to do is using what I've been with my experience testing during this week. But I've been doing some research on internet, YouTube videos and information and all that stuff to give you the whole, trying to recap everything about FireGrain. Okay, so you can have a global idea of what's the FireGrain. So the tempering process. Well, we've been talking about that. It's okay. Another thing I have to say is that it's not only that that they apply this process to a regular drumstick. They also have a pre-qualification process that they apply to the wood. Okay, with the wood they get the dowel, I think is the word of wood that they're gonna use to make the drumstick. Okay, so they apply a pre-qualification process to all the dowels to extract or to select the more suitable for that for the FireGrain process. Okay, so they choose the right wood or the more appropriate wood for that, and then they create the drumstick and apply the process to that drumstick. So it's kind of the whole process is designed to get a really harder drumstick. It's not only just apply the process. So the whole process is designed for that. Okay, that's one thing. The other thing that they say is that because of this process, they are being able to reduce the weight tolerance. I mean, apparently, when we talk about the 5V or a regular measure model, you have the market or the standard is kind of, you have a tolerance of 40 grams. It's the tolerance. I mean, if you buy a 5V here or a 5V in California, you have to they have to be less or equal to 40 grams. No difference. If it's more, then it's not a standard 5V. Let's say that, more or less. I hope you understand. Okay, because of this, of the FireGrain process, they say that I've been able to reduce that to 5 grams. So, that means that if you get a pair here, or get a pair in Japan, another pair in California, another pair in China, the difference of in weight, it has to be equal or less than 5 grams, which is kind of awesome, I think, because sometimes 40 grams can be too much, you can notice that. So the feel of the drumstick, it's curious that if you are playing your drumstick, the same model here or playing in California, it feels different. So apparently with this process, they have been capable to reduce that, so it's more stable. Okay, the models are going to be more stable from one place to another place, to different countries, and to all that. Okay, I think it kind of makes sense because one of the main reasons for the weight difference is maybe it's the humidity and all that stuff, and I suppose that because of the process, the wood is kind of closed more and it's harder. The humidity is it's gonna affect differently. Maybe it's that the reason. I don't have a scientific reason, but I think it makes sense, at least in my opinion. Okay, that's about the FireGrain in general. Two more things that I've been hearing a lot. The first thing, they are a little bit heavier than the regular Promark model. Okay, I mean, if you have this is 5A Rebound, you have 5A Rebound from FireGrain. If you get the standard 5A Rebound, it's gonna be lighter than this one. Apparently, it's not too much. Well, apparently, I tried that with the classic one, with this 5B FireGrain and the 5B standard classic, and you can notice that in your hand. Okay, that this one is a little bit heavier. It's not a lot heavier, and most of the people that talk about that in videos and all that say that, okay, it takes me maybe 1 hour to get used to that, but it's not that much. Another comment that I've been hearing is that they apparently Promark said that it's maybe between an active grip and an oak model, so kind of in the middle or something like that. The difference in weight. The active grip is this one. We will check. We will test this in the future, but it's have a layer for grip and all that stuff. So it's kind of that. But what I can say is you can notice that, but at the same time, I can say it's not that much. It's not that like if you go to oak, but you can immediately notice that it's pretty heavier. In this case, it's just maybe getting used to that. Of course, if in my case, for example, that I prefer lighter drumsticks, maybe it's a reason for me to not go to because in my case I don't break a lot of sticks. So in my case, if I have to, I prefer maybe to stay with the regular ones. I don't prefer. I mean, I don't want to add weight to this drumstick. I prefer to have the weight. But on the other side, maybe some of you. Feels like, okay, I like the feel, I like the grip, but they are a little bit light. I prefer something a little bit heavier, but I don't want to go too oak. So cool, that's for you. This is your solution. Okay, you can get this one, and you can add a little bit of weight. And well, I've heard some people say that it changed the pitch a little bit, it's a higher pitch or something like that, the sound. Honestly, I'm incapable to notice that, okay? Maybe, of course, it's a question of experience, I suppose, of my ear, my train is not trained enough, or all that, but I will never decide to change to FireGrain or to move to the regular from FireGrain because of the pitch, okay, or the sound and all that. I honestly, I'm incapable, but I've heard people saying that it's kind of a higher pitch, especially the cymbals and that. But I believe it. Of course, I think it's true, or at least it's true for them. They notice that, but I've been incapable to notice that. Compared with a regular hickory, I don't notice that difference. I didn't notice. Sorry. And the last thing I have to say about this pair is that the FireGrain series are more expensive than the regular one. We are talking maybe about $4 or something like that, between 3 and 4 euros or $4, something like that. That's more or less the difference. I mean, between the standard model and the FireGrain model. So, is it worth it? It totally depends on how are if they increase the durability for you enough to compensate that $3 or $4. I hope you understand. Honestly, I think there's no way you can have an opinion on this if you don't try it. If you, let's say like that, if you don't break drumsticks, like in my case, FireGrain, in my case, of course, even thinking that it's gonna increase the durability, of course it's gonna make it, but it's not really a problem for me. So maybe in the case I want to add a little bit of weight to the drumstick, it's a good option. But on the other hand, you have other models, so it's not. But first thing, if you are a heavy hitter, if you have problems of durability, honestly, I think you have to give it a try, because maybe. Okay, so maybe $3 or $4 more. Okay, but if they last double time, imagine that. I don't know. You have to try. Then it's worth it. So for me, trying to recap everything about the FireGrain, I would say it's just a question of durability. This is what I will say. The rest of the things, for me, well, maybe the weight thing, the weight tolerance, it's kind of, you are gonna get a more stable drumstick, and the feel is gonna be more stable for you and all that stuff. Well, that's cool. But the main thing for me is the durability. If you have that problem, go for it. At least give it a try. And if you want, let me know how it goes. I say, okay, I just give, I don't know, I'm capable to find a number. I mean, somebody say, okay, I've been trying this for, I don't know, 2 weeks, and I can say, or 3 months, I don't know, and say, it lasts me twice than the regular ones. I don't know. Nobody just, because as you know, sometimes it depends on the kind of gigs you're doing, but if you have a regular gig or you play more or less the same thing on a daily basis, or, you know, it's kind of not so hard to compare. We are not looking for something very, very scientific. It's more like the global idea. I say, okay, I can say that maybe twice, maybe 3 times, maybe, I don't know, 1.5 times. Give it a try, and if you have a number, let us know. Put it in the comments so we, others, you know, other viewers or subscribers or other people can find out. But I would say that it's, for me, it's completely worth it to test. Okay, it's just for $3, $4. Get a pair and have a look. If you have that problem, at least you have a pair of good drumsticks to play for a week or for 2 weeks or for whatever it's your case. Okay, that's all I have to say about FireGrain. I hope you like it, and if you want, give it a try. If you have a chance, I suggest that it's a good way to, it's a good pair to try. Okay, now about the Rebound thing. Okay, that's the other thing I've been trying. Okay, I've been mainly comparing these two. As you know, this is a 5B, this is a 5A, but to have a global idea, in fact, I'm gonna do a review in the future of this pair, of the Classic, because I've never tried the Classic standard Promark. This case of I'll do it in the future, okay? But now, to compare, it's enough for me. Two main differences between the Classic and the Rebound, but okay? Well, two differences. First one, the tip, okay? The Classic Promark model is an oval tip, and the Rebound, it's an acorn tip, okay? So that's the first difference. And the second difference is the taper, okay? Kind of medium, short, between medium, I would say medium taper in the standard or the Classic one, between medium and short, I would say, and long taper for the Rebound model, okay? They said it's 3 inches. Well, I'm not going to mention the measures. They are standard 5E, 16 inches, 0.565. That we are talking about a regular drumstick, a 5A. And about the Rebound thing, first thing I have to say, at least it makes sense. With the changes make sense with everything that we've been trying. Okay, when you read that this is a Rebound model, they are supposed to rebound better than the Classic one. So what they do is, okay, first thing, the taper, okay, longer taper, in fact, well, longer taper, so you immediately notice that the Rebound is way better. But as I always say, you lose control too, okay? The Rebound is more free, let's say like that, okay? With this one, it's more, the Rebound, even, I don't know, you get less Rebound, but it's super stable, okay? In this case, it's more free. You have to, but anyway, you can learn to control that pretty fast, so that's not a problem. Okay, the other thing is the kind of tip. With the oval tip, you have, as you know, we've been talking about that sometimes. The oval tip is kind of long tip, have a lot of surface touching the drum head or the cymbal, or so the round. I mean, you have more open sound, more big and round sound, full sound, let's say. With the acorn tip, you can get a more focused sound, more definition, better articulation, I think. And something that it's curious too about I've noticed that in a few drumsticks, is that when you have the acorn tip, the neck, I mean the place where the tip is gonna start, it's always kind of thinner, okay, compared with the regular one. So that's because of the shape of the drumstick, and at the same time, I mean, I suppose it's because of the rebound thing. They are trying to get, you know, less material, less weight, all that. So very good definition, very good articulation. The acorn tip gives you, as I mentioned sometimes, you have the option to modify the angle of attack, so you can get different sounds in the ride, for example, or even the hi-hat. So I think it's great. I'm really starting to like the acorn tip. I think it's great to have that option. Okay, with this you have less options. It's more open, more. So if you're looking, you know, if you want a full sound, more, just go for it. It's a great option. The oval tip. It gives you more. I don't know, more power. Let's say like that. So that's the main two differences between them. I would say, in my case, I prefer this model than the classic one. It's curious. I didn't know that the Promark, the classic Promark model, is oval tip. I thought it was. Most of the you know, the companies have the teardrop. Another thing I want to mention is that honestly, the difference between the acorn and the teardrop, for me, it's kind of hard to. I mean, if you compare both, okay, this is acorn, okay, as you can see, but the teardrop is maybe more trying to go to more angle. You know, it's a teardrop, the shape of a teardrop, no? But more round at the top. Honestly, I still don't have enough experience to notice that difference so much. But sometimes it depends, because, as you know, the acorn from Promark, it's gonna be different from the acorn from Big Firth or from other companies. So it's more a thing of the tip you are using, not the shape in general. Okay. I've been trying, I've been looking for images and all that, and try to establish a difference, something. I don't know. Maybe in this case, the only thing I can say with the acorn, it's more straight in that part. It's not so oval. So, you know, you can get more sound of when you hit like this compared with the other small rounds, so you get less surface. But maybe it's too extreme to establish a difference. So I'm entering in freak mode, so that I'm just trying to find a difference that maybe it doesn't exist, so, at least for my ear. I'm not trained enough to establish that difference. So anyway, for me, teardrop or acorn, if they are not too extreme, works pretty well. Okay. So Eduardo, about the rebound model. If you want more rebound, go for it. In my case, I prefer this one than the regular one. I would say, as you know, also the thing that they remove material from here, you lose a little bit of power too. Maybe not a little bit. So I would say, depending on the style you're using it, maybe for heavy styles or hard styles, I prefer maybe the classic one, honestly. I mean, for heavy rock or something like that. But once I start to play something more busy, I need more rebound, need more ghost notes and all that stuff, I go for this one. I prefer this one. It gives you more, it's easier to handle, okay, for me at least. So I hope it helps you, okay? The fact of the FireGrain, I think, apart from the weight, that of course is going to add a little bit of weight, but I mean, I've been comparing a 5/8 with a 5/8, but you can easily notice the difference in behavior. Okay, it's not a question of weight. In this case, it's a question of when you compare. I mean, the classic with it's a question of the feeling of the rebound. This is way easier to handle with the small touch and all that stuff. This is heavier in the front, so but at the same time you have more power. So it's up. I think it depends on the style. It's good to have if you play Promark, it's good to have both. I think, and just use it for depending on the sound or on the style. Or it's. I hope it helps you. Okay. So for the next week, the next week I'm gonna try a pair of my buddy from Barcelona, my buddy Mickey Grau. And this is the pair he's actually using. It's the American Jazz one from Bigford. It's kind of a classic. We were talking in Tam Tam and I asked him, okay, what drumsticks do you use? And he say, I play with this and I love this. And as you know, Mickey is, as I call it, my Steve Brown Jordan. It's our Spanish version of Steve Jordan. So he's an awesome player, amazing groove, and okay, so I have to try it. Okay, I can advance you something I think I'm really gonna love this pair, but you have to wait for 1 week, and I'll tell you how it goes. Have a nice week. Keep drumming and keep trying. Test the FireGrain if you have a chance, and let me know how it goes. Okay, let me know if you find something different. I have something to say now. I have a surprise, but it's maybe in 2 weeks or something like that. Okay, just give you this little advance. See you next Sunday. Okay, have a nice week. Goodbye.